I was in a grocery store today where a random white child ran up to a random black teenager. She looked to be about 15, 16 years old, but probably appeared older to him because he looked to be about 6, 7 years old. So he went up to her, grabbed her hand, and was like, "Mommy told me to find one of you. If I'm lost, can you help?" And this kid, this teenager, deer in headlights, had no idea, looking around trying to figure out what to do. And honestly, I've never trusted that situation. I've never trusted the fact that y'all tell your children to find a black woman for safety, but you tell the world black women are violent, angry, and bitter. Never really trusted that. So I stayed in the aisle, and I'm glad I did, because not even 30 seconds later, here comes his mother with security rounding the corner talking about, "Why are you touching my child?" Black women, if you find yourself in this situation, record everything immediately.
White people, stop telling your children, go find a black woman if they get lost. Hell no, we're not doing this in 2025. Whether you are conscious of it or not, what you are doing is putting our black women in grave danger. And hell no, we're not doing that. Because little Sarah or little Timmy will go running up to some random black woman and she doesn't know what's going on, grab hold of her, and you being frantic, looking for your child, who you should have kept better supervised, you would turn the corner and see your child with a black woman and want to call the police. And that could end up having our black women be arrested, separated from their families, and God forbid, even unalived. Hell no. You Kens and you Carolyn Bryants out there are not going to put our black women in danger. And what really pisses me off about this, white America, on one hand, loves to tell the world that black Americans, especially black American women, are angry and loud and ghetto. But then privately, you are telling your children, now, if you are lost, go find a random black woman, because you know deep down you can't trust your children with your men and other white women. So you tell them to go find a random black woman. Hell no. Stop telling your kids if they get lost, they need to find a black woman. What you need to do is be better parents and keep them better supervised. Black women, if this happens to you, make sure you record the entire interaction. And if you have someone with you, have them record it too, so that you have more than one set of documentation as to what is going on and what is happening. And please boost this message. A user by the name of Lizzie, her video brought this to my attention along with some others. And I put Lizzie's video in my stories. Go watch it and share it. Boost this video. Better yet, make videos of your own. And in your circles of influence, share this information about what is going on. Y'all be careful out there.
I just came across a story of a woman talking about how I think it was like a story she heard from another person, but basically about a white kid that got lost in a grocery store who went to find a black woman because that's what her mom told her to do. So that's what she did. And that story and that narrative, or that narrative generally about like telling your kids to find black women if they're lost, has been a thing on social media for a little bit. But there's a part of me, honestly, that thought that it was just like rage bait and not real, because I was like, there's no way real parents in the real world are actually giving their kids that advice. But if that story is true, it turns out that it might be true that parents are for real telling their kids this. So I just want to nip it in the bud, just in case this might ever happen to me. It hasn't yet, but just in case, I just want to crush it right now. Parents, I just feel like the most common places that parent-child separations accidentally happen most of the time is probably in like supermarkets or like amusement parks or shit like that. If you accidentally get lost or separated from your kid, where are you going? Where? Because more than likely, you're probably going to go straight, make a beeline straight for the security, mall security, the park security, something like that. That's probably where you're going to go. No? Like, is your plan like you're just going to like look around the entire mall scouting every black woman, every rogue black woman to see if your child is with them? Probably not. You're gonna go to mall security and ask them for their help first. So you need to instruct your kids to either find security or find a member of staff, because staff will then call security. That's where you need to be sending your lost kids, not to strangers, not to other strangers, just because they happen to be black women. That's stupid advice. Objectively, that's stupid advice. And I understand, like, outside of the weird racist implications of it, some people are like, it's not about racism. It's that we all trust black women more. Stupid. Stupid, dude. I'm a stranger to you and your kid. If you get separated from your kid, telling them to come to me before they go to mall security, objectively unsafe, ridiculous, stupid advice. Send your kids to the mall security, the security of anywhere, or staff that work at the place that you're at. That's the advice you need to give them. Sending them into the arms of another rogue stranger, stupid, stupid advice. Thank you. Kind of wanted to expand on what I was saying based on this comment, not specifically to like correct the comment, because I already responded like in text.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great. Now, you understand that the US has a long history of false accusation against black people based on nothing but proximity to whiteness, right? Now, especially when we talk about children. That's been a recent scenario that has been going on right now, which forms a major part of this concern that I want to address in my channel, right? So you understand that that was a time that we learned, as generally black people, we learned that white people are always advising their kids that when they are in trouble, they should look for a black woman to help them. Well, that really sounded good to black people. That really sounded good, right? But come to think about it, I feel like there is something wrong with this idea. First, this is just momism, because it takes us back to the time when black women were used to put those roles unwillingly. But today, I'm seeing that this puts black women in danger. Why am I saying so? You understand the history of the United States when it comes to false accusation of black people, especially when we have a case that is involving a black person and a white person. You always know the end most of the time, at least, right? Don't get me wrong. Now, this is where things might get wrong. For instance, you as a parent, you advised your kid to go look for a black woman. Now, the kid went missing. Now you're searching for the kid. What are you going to do? You are going to tell the police that your kid is lost, right? Now, when your kid is lost, the police will start doing a search. So when they're going to find this kid with a black person, I don't think the story is going to be the same. I really don't know. Not unless this black woman starts doing, documenting or recording all this scenario, all when this kid is approaching just for security purposes, right? And I think this has really helped black people generally solving a lot of cases, just pulling up your phone and recording all the damn thing that is going on. So this has been a scenario that has been talked, people have been talking really about it. And there's a lot going on here. And black people are now saying that, no, please do not tell your kids to go come seek help from black women, because what you're doing, you're just putting them into risk. So brothers and sisters, I want to let you watch the video. I'll be back. And then please let me know what you think about all this. I'm your host and presenter, GTech Stories. And let's watch the video. I'll be back. I'll be sharing my 2 cents in regards to this. So let's watch. I'll be back.
But to also just point out another angle of this, which is that in the original story that I was referencing about the white kid who went and ran up to a black woman in a supermarket because they were lost, based on the way that the story was told, it sounds like when that woman did eventually find the kid with mall security or with the supermarket security, I think she did go to the security, she wasn't immediately happy or grateful to see her daughter with this black woman. She was immediately suspicious. And it's just to highlight that, like, when we're saying, please stop telling your kids to come find us, it's not so much about the kid, because I think most women of any background are going to feel sad, weird, bizarre, and probably have an inclination to want to do something if they see a child by themselves. I think that's kind of a very natural thing in a lot of people to see, like, yo, if a kid is by themselves, they probably are going to want to do something to help. It's just that it puts us in a really weird and compromised position, because it's a weird juxtaposition of trying to put us in this position of hero for you or your kid, while simultaneously being realistic about the economic and political state of the world right now, and that there's a lot of very negative bias that exists towards Black women as a demographic, you know? And like, when you're in that situation and you're like, you know, probably this applies to most POC, but as a Black woman alone with a white child whom you do not know, and you don't know the parents, you don't know if these parents, like, where they stand, you know, in the greater scheme of things, and the feelings they might have towards Black people, you don't know if stepping in to help this child could actually put you in a really weird position. Like, they might feel suspicious of you, feel like you did something, feel like maybe you were, you know, part of the issue. It's not necessarily true that just because they tell their kids find a Black woman that they have positive ideas about Black women in general. Like, they could still very well come to you, see you with their white child, and immediately want to, like, press a charge, or like they don't trust that you are trying to help them, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a sure thing that just because they've put you in this position of perpetual babysitter to their lost white child, that they have a positive view of you, and thus you could end up in a really weird and compromised position with the parent, who's also in like a heightened state of stress, I'd presume, if they just lost and found their child with another adult that they don't know. It's just, the situation can be extremely compromising to the Black woman in question. It's less about the child and more about the other adult, the other Black woman in question. And it's like the whole situation can put you in a way, I wouldn't say dangerous necessarily for the Black woman, but it can put you in a real confusing, and I keep saying compromise, but that's the word. It can put you in a really compromising position to be forced into that position with people who could be working with a lot of negative bias towards Black women or Black people. So that's, you know what I mean? The bigger draw is more so about the weird position it puts us in, and less so about the child. Like, a lost kid sucks, and most people are gonna want to help a lost kid. If a lost kid, because the truth of the matter is, even after all this, if a lost kid comes up to me about help me find my parents, I'm probably gonna take them to security. I am probably gonna do something to help them find their parents. I'm gonna take them to staff. That's the truth. I also just...
All right, rednecks.
What do you do if you get lost?
Find a big black guy.
The nerve of you people is astounding. The true indigenous people of this land, the copper-colored foundation of this entire continent, are not your emergency services. They are not your human shield. They are not your human travel center. You think it's okay to be racist up until it serves you. Why are non-Black people the only people that get lost? Black American children have to make sure they're never alone with you people. And you think it's acceptable to ask someone to look after your wild monkeys? The level of psychological sickness that requires someone to be this stupid and delusional is damn near as bad as Trump being president. You know on some deep cellular level that your whiteness is not a source of power. It's a disadvantage. You pretend to not know. But deep down you're all aware that you've all lost your fucking minds. You also know deep down that you've lost power, and it's only a matter of time before this entire reality is set straight. So you look to the kings and queens of this realm. You look to the people whose spirit you could not break, whose communities you could not fully dismantle, whose love you could not eradicate. But that ends today. The free ride on their resilience is over. So here's a new survival tip for little Timmy. If he's ever lost, don't teach him to find a Black American woman. Teach him to find a compass. And then teach him to point it east across the Atlantic towards Europe and North Africa, and let him know that's where his people actually come from. Let him walk back the path his ancestors sailed. No, let him find his safety in the homelands his people are so ashamed of.
This morning with this white lady said, my kids see color. I taught them to see color. And she said, but wait a minute for y'all cut me. She said, I taught my kids, if they go to the store or they go somewhere and they get lost, find you a Black family. Find you a Black woman. She said, because if you go to a white person, they're going to be looking at you crazy. You don't want to go to a white man because they're going to kidnap you. You find you a Black woman, she going to make sure you clean. She going to make sure you fed, and she going to take you to help you find your mom. She said, so my kids are taught to see color. And if you want to be safe, you go and find you a Black mama. And if
that's what Trevor Noah, that there used to be that talk show host at night that came on. You know, he's from Africa.
Africa. His mama white, daddy black. He said the first thing his mama told him when he got to America, if you need anything, find a black woman. That's what he told him. Find
But I'm
a
glad
black woman.
I'm glad she's talking to see color. I want you to see color. I want you to see my color. I'm not ashamed of my color. I love my color. Yes, see me. That colorblind BS is BS. See my color. I am a black male proud.
For all the people of the other races that be telling their kids, if y'all get lost, find a black woman, please tell them, don't come to me. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, okay, I get that we nurturing and all that. We gonna make sure you good. But, baby, I'm going through shit too. I'm not finna be worried about your fucking kids, bitch. I'm not this savior no. I'm just a girl too. And who the fuck gonna take care of us? So why is flattering that y'all think we, nurturing and you gonna feel at home with us, which that is true. Hell no. No. Please don't come.
If you're ever in trouble, look for a black woman. Well, black women said they don't want to be the savior no more, according to the comments. You know what I'm saying? They're tired, they fed up. They tired of not being valued, they tired of not being cherished. They tired of it all, so, some change that gotta happen at this point. You know what I'm saying? And they said the best apology for them is change behavior. So, until you do that, they just gonna feel some type of way towards it. They're not gonna trust it. You know what I mean? As black men, a lot of black men get in the comment section saying, speak for yourself. I don't owe black women this, I don't owe black women that. And y'all part of the problem, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you that you in your life, you treat black women bad, but you can't knock the fact that black women have been treated bad, not only due to us, but society as well. And a lot of us have been forced out the home, so that forced black women to do things that they might not have wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? You can't ignore that. That's a fact at the end of the day. Black women don't deserve that. They deserve apologies, they deserve growth, and they deserve help. So it's gotta be like that. Gotta keep it real, man, all the way around the field. That's what we do on this page.
Remember that post a while back and this guy said, oh, my mother always told me when I'm in danger, when I'm lost, go find a black woman. And people were eating that up. Yes. Like, look. I am a social worker. I don't even consider myself an empath because I think a lot of people who call themselves empaths are just reacting from trauma and are people pleasers. I am a social worker. I am a helping professional. I do care about people. I care about animals. But the saddest thing about that whole statement is when you're in danger, find a black woman, is that as a black mother, I can never tell my son that. I can never tell my son, when you're in danger, go find a person from X, Y, and Z group. And that is hurtful. I can only tell him, go find another black woman.
If that statement was for kids, the run the black woman for help, that was for the kids, that's even fucking worse. That's even fucking worse. Do you understand how limiting that is? In a whole world where kids exist, you designate where they can go to with specific gender and race, black women, and we supposed to say what? You feel good about that? I saw somebody in the comments talking about, oh yeah, I agree. I'll help any child, anytime, anywhere. You okay? Go help them school shooter kids. Go do that. Okay. At the end of the day, let me just explain something to you, okay? You can get tricked sometimes by the validation things, and that's understandable. As black women, we have been beat down, okay? So sometimes the validation be getting us, but I want you to know validation sometimes comes, right? Covering up exploitation. Because what it's giving me by them saying, run to black women for help, kids, is them burdening black women with that obligation because you're a black woman to unburden themselves from doing the goddamn work to make themselves safe spaces for them kids at the end of the day. Because kids deserve to live in a world where they can go to anybody, regardless of race and gender, and ask for help if they need that. Okay? If they're in trouble, if something's going on, they should be able to go to white man, white woman, okay, Asian man, Asian woman, black man, okay? They should have that. Kids deserve that. They deserve a world that has that. But they're not going to have that world if they have the very people who are unwilling to do the work to make themselves safe spaces yelling, good, yeah, black women got it, you got it, you got it. I absolutely do not. Absolutely not. I'm not Captain Save-A-Ho. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not Jesus Christ, okay? They killed that nigga at the end of the day. They killed that nigga at the end of the day. Unlike him, I promise you, I'm not coming back. Y'all can all go to hell. Y'all not about to kill me because I promise you, unlike him, I'm not coming back. Y'all can all go to fuck the hell. Y'all can all go to fuck the hell, okay? I'm a human being at the end of the day and I observe my humanity. And out of that humanity is how I'm able to help. I do not help outside of my humanity. You know why? Because that is not authentic. That is just bullshit at the end of the day. It is bullshit. I refuse to be an enabler. for the world not to do the fucking work outside of black women to make themselves safe spaces and find the humanity to treat people like fucking humans at the end of the day. And by the way, that ideology doesn't just stay with the kids, okay? Ideologies don't just stay in one fucking place. They grow. And that ideology grows into black women. Y'all about to be Captain Save-A-Ho, okay? And I promise you, I'm not, like I said, I'm not your savior. I'm not Jesus Christ, okay? They killed that nigga at the end of the day, and I refuse to let the world burden me to death to unalive me, okay? Because unlike him, he promised to come back. I promise you I'm not. So if you want to unalive me, world, guess what? Hell is hot, okay? All right. So the rest of y'all, do the fucking work. Do the fucking work. Because if your plan is to burden black women to death, you might as well just prepare to get a fan and fry slow, okay? Good night, hoes. So at the end of the day, what if black women just go take 5 melatonin gummies right now? All take a nap. What they gonna do with them kids if they have not done the work to find humanity in themselves and make themselves safe spaces and places? Okay.
That Indian guy that got on here and said that his mother told him if he ever needs help in the world to go find a black woman. Listen, I don't want to be that one. Okay, because I know that he was being very sweet. It seems like he's a very genuine person, but he is not the first person that's not black. He's not the first person that I've heard say that, where if they need any help, they need emotional support or whatever the case may be, then go find a black woman. And listening to that, I just can't help but to feel like, are y'all using us? Like, are we the scapegoats? Are we pawns? Like, because truth be told, the only people that I have this much energy for after dealing with everything else that we deal with on a regular basis are my kids. I'm sorry, everybody else, you have to take a back seat. And I also feel like as black women, we have always been taught to figure it out. So when you come to me, don't come to me asking me for help, because I'm going to tell you to figure it out. Now, I'm not no heartless person, okay? Like, if you genuinely need help, like, I'll be like, all right, cool. But that's about it. After a few, no, go figure it out on your own. Like, if we have to do it, so do you. He's also not the first person. They say these things and then they go to say, well, like, it just makes me so upset that black women are the most disrespected people. And I just feel like if you know that, then don't you think it's a little bit selfish to expect for us to just, like, turn it off and help you out and then have to turn it back on and deal with our own emotional baggage and deal with everyday life? You don't think that's kind of selfish? And on top of that, look at the history of the black woman in this country. We have always been the help. People have always came to us to help them with their kids, to help them with their house. And nowadays, in this day and age, I'm so glad that more of us as black women are starting to say no. No. Like, I love that for us. And I think that we should continue to say no. Like, give help where help is needed, but no. That's it. Full sentence. Final answer. But like I said, he seems like a sweet person, so it's no attack on him. When I hear people that's not black say that, it just makes me feel a way, because you can figure it out, okay? We're all human, right? We're all flawed. Don't expect for us to always be there for you when you need help. Go figure it out. Anyways, if y'all have seen that video, let me know what y'all think. And please do not, I don't want to be that one that's like taking it to the next level, but that's just how I feel. So
the thing nobody is saying about this whole find a black woman discourse is that what you're basically saying is that you don't even trust you. Not just that, you are saying that the people you trust the most in society are the ones you do the absolute fucking dirtiest. I have been having a lot of discourse lately about black women and my stance as a black womanist. And that stance is that I am here on this planet to uplift and be uplifted by black women. I am, in my food chain, black women come first. Now, that being said, black women and their children and, families and the structure that helps to uplift black women is the structure that I wish to uplift. That being said, I am also a recovering people pleaser. I am formerly employed in childcare, but also I have been a caretaker. I have given a large portion of my life to the care of others. All that to be said, don't tell your children to find me in a crowd, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not that I don't want to help your child, and it's not that I haven't helped lost children many times in the street. That being said, if you don't even trust you, you are putting me in danger to protect yourself. And I'll tell you why. Because all too often, we don't talk about the idea that black women, when it comes to civil rights and equality and whatever, y'all only think of men as the hallmark of Black Lives Matter. You think of black men's bodies, you think of black men's incarceration rates, you think of black men's everything. They are at the fore of your mind when it comes to both civil rights movements and, was he still up there? Yeah. The civil rights icons that we remember. You think of men first when it comes to the cost of these things and the hallmarks and the sounding cries. But when it comes to saying her name and the fact that black women are also in these streets, but also forgotten and still leaned on and expected to play mammy, even to the point of, you don't know what's going on with me, but you are telling your child to find me in the street. You don't know if I am lost, you don't know if I am in distress, and you don't know if I might need help. But you feel it's comfortable, it's good for you that if something happens, you are going to seek me out. And not for nothing, when I say you, I also mean you as adults, because I have definitely been in way too many positions when I am going to the airport early, because I have real bad anxiety and I like to get to the airport like 6 hours early for my flight. I'm one of those people. I have shown up 12 hours early to a flight, and I will be sitting alone in the airport minding my business, and people literally come up to me and tell me what intimate details are happening in their life. It doesn't matter if I'm obviously engaged in something else. It doesn't matter if I'm wearing headphones. It does not matter. People, if I am alone in public, come up to me and tell me what they are doing, why they are traveling, what's on their mind. People offload and expect emotional labor from me since I was a child. So again, I ask, when the black woman is lost, who does she turn to? And I'll end on this. I have been in enough emergent situations to know that if I am in need of assistance, I am SOL most of the time. I am hopeful that I have phone service and that a black woman is nearby. But I guess you know how that feels. And it's weird that you don't trust you if your child is lost, but it's okay for them to trust me. But if you round a corner and you see a large black woman holding your child, tell me that a little tickle of fear doesn't.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching me from now. The warning from black people urging white parents to stop telling their children to seek help from black women if they are lost. This comes from a real and urgent concern about black racialized danger. Although this advice is often presented as a compliment, suggesting that black women are nurturing, trustworthy, and community-oriented. It unintentionally exposes black women to life-threatening risks. In a society where policing, surveillance, public suspicion are deeply racialized, a black woman seen interacting with a lost white child is instantly placed under the shadow of criminal suspicion. This warning, therefore, is not rooted in hostility, but it comes from a profound awareness of how quickly innocent situation can turn violent when race and policing intersect in America. Right? Because you understand very well that the United States has a long history of false accusation uh, of black people based on, nothing but more proximity to white individuals, especially children. And even today, countless videos and police reports show innocent black men and women stopped, harassed, or arrested simply because a white person felt uncomfortable. These, in this environment, a black person or a black woman attempting to assist a lost white child can easily be misinterpreted by bystanders for kidnapping, manipulating, or coercing. Now, the police, operating within the system shaped by bias, may respond aggressively before asking question. What was meant as a moment of compassion can instantly transform into a criminalized encounter with life-altering consequences, brothers and sisters. Now, the danger intensifies when we understand that the police tend to escalate situation involving black people. We all have to agree on that, right? Because even when they are clearly innocent, and numerous studies have demonstrated that officers are more likely to perceive black individuals as suspicious, threatening, or guilty when they are performing normal or helpful actions. Therefore, when white parents tell their children, trust a black human, trust a black woman if you need help, they are probably unintentionally placing the responsibility for the child's safety onto someone already vulnerable to state violence. The warning from black communities emerges from the reality. It is from good intentions. Do not override racialized policing. Black women already carry a disproportionate emotional and social burden in American society. They are expected to be caretakers, educators, moral stabilizers, community supporters, and problem solvers, roles they never volunteered but for historically inherited through survival. Additionally, the responsibility of protecting wild children further reinforces a pattern where society benefits from women's labor while ignoring their safety. These expectations, they operate under the false belief that black women are superhuman protectors who can absorb harm without consequences. This is precisely the stereotype that places them in danger when assisting a white child. Now, the fear here is not theoretical, let's agree, right? Because it is grounded in lived experiences, at least for black people generally. There have been numerous incidences where black women offering help were accused of wrongdoings or met with hostility from white parents, bystanders, or authorities. The racial script in America is so distorted that a white child crying near a black adult is often interpreted as a sign of danger rather than a call for empathy. Black people understand that one misunderstanding, one phone call to the police, one false assumption could lead to arrest, violence, or permanent record. This is why warning is so urgent. It is about survival in a system that does not treat black innocence as default. The larger societal issue is that white Americans often teach their children unrealistic and racial harmful survival strategies. Instead of teaching them to follow official safety protocols such as seeking security personnel, female store workers, or design child safe space, they are, right? They place the emotional and physical burden onto racial group historically armed by law enforcement. This shows a deeper structural problem. The parents may trust black women personally, but do not reckon with the state violence black women endure collectively. What seems like a comforting instruction actually exposes the child and the adult to a dangerous racial misunderstanding. Lastly, what you need to understand about this is that black people are not rejecting compassion or community responsibility. They are protecting black women from becoming casualties of America's unresolved trauma. The warning is a call for white families to confront the realities of racial bias, policing, and historical stereotypes rather than bypassing them with a naive or symbolic gesture. Teaching children racial awareness must involve accurate guidance about who seek to act from the public emergencies, not romanticized or culturally burdensome instruction that place black women in harm's way. The message is simple but profound. Do not put black women in situations where racial bias can destroy their lives until America confronts the policing system that criminalizes black innocence. These warnings remain necessary and needed at the same time. So please, brothers and sisters, let me know what you think about this, right? I'm your host and presenter, Agent Stories, but until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.